you can relax. Relax. Stay to the end of the video for the most important and actionable tip that you can do the summer before your law school to prepare. Now, I meant what I said at the beginning of this video, that relaxing and enjoying your life really is the best way to spend that one final summer before law school. You've probably heard the stories of how much work law school is, the hundreds of pages of reading a week, the summer internships, and then eventually the bar exam and working as a lawyer. Once you get on the law train, you don't really get off. And that's why the best thing to do over your last summer before law school really is just to enjoy your life, whatever that means for you. Maybe it's traveling the world. Maybe it's doing a new type of job. Maybe it's just spending time with your loved ones, your friends, your family. In my case, it was playing a lot of Halo. But whatever you love doing, whatever is most enriching, do that. Now, at the same time, if you clicked on this video and you're watching it, that's probably because you're wondering, okay, Julian, sure, I could have fun, but what stuff can I do to set myself up for future success at my law school? Because I'm eager, I'm anxious, I'm ready to get to work. What can I do? Well, one thing that you're probably going to benefit from, not just in law school, but for your career well after law school, is working on your social skills. And by social skills, I mean learning how to network with other people in a really casual and relaxed setting. Like striking up a conversation with somebody else standing in line for coffee and not blurting out something awkward. Or maybe it's joining a rec soccer league and getting to know your teammates over a drink after one of your practices. The key is to practice the muscle of building a rapport very quickly with somebody with whom you've never met. And like I just said, this is a muscle. You gotta practice it, you gotta train it. For some of you, and I know this certainly was the case for me, when you've had your head in the books your whole life, this type of skill is not something you've ever probably even had to practice or even tried. And that's okay. But you can use this unstructured open time during the summer before law school to go out and adventure and build this rapport with strangers and practice that muscle and build that charisma. A really easy way to do this is to get involved in some sort of political campaign or movement or community. Politics is really all about people. And when you're doing things like going to political rallies or going door to door for a candidate, you're constantly practicing that skill of getting to know somebody else pretty quickly to build, ideally, a positive rapport with them. You can read a lot the summer before your 1L year. Law school is a lot of reading. In fact, most of the work that you're going to do in law school will come down to reading pages and pages of case law. So if you're fast at reading, if you're good at reading and retaining what it is that you read, then that's going to make the process of law school readings that much easier for you. So you don't need to read case law or legal doctrine or law-related reading materials at all, to be clear, but reading books that you might find enjoyable, reading a lot of articles, just reading.
A few moments later.
That will help you. While we're on the topic, a lot of people wonder, should I start reading case law now or like learn to familiarize myself with the type of language and the way that law school readings show up so that when I show up on campus during the first week of my readings, I'm better prepared? And my advice is don't do that. For a variety of reasons, it's not a good use of your time. First of all, you're going to become acclimated to the style of reading case law very quickly. It doesn't take that long, maybe a couple of weeks for most students before they really get in the groove and understanding the way that these judges write their decisions and how you process it. So to the extent that you think that reading case law will help advance your skill in reading case law in the future, it is such a small benefit relative to how much pain you're gonna have to go through reading random cases, I guess, during your summer. Just don't waste your time. But also you might think, what if I get ahead by reading cases now over my summer that I know are gonna be tested in the future? And my response to you there is, you don't know what cases you're going to read and not going to read because every single professor's curriculum is different. And then you might think, well, Julian, there are these guides like Barbary. They have these outlines that tell you the doctrine underlying things like contract law and torts. Maybe I should read that. And my response to you on using these guides that discuss doctrine in general terms is that that's also not really going to help you because the professor that you have specifically will be the person who is testing you on the exam, their version of the doctrine, their specific case law that they chose. That's what's going to matter, not the Barbary generalized outline that's telling you what the 4 elements of a tort are. So feel free to read to your heart's content, but don't sweat the legal reading. Now, a good use of time, I'd argue a great use of time, is watching all of the YouTube videos that I have on this channel that are about the legal profession and getting a job as a 1L and getting a job in big law and everything else that touches the legal world. Yeah, I know this sounds like a shameless plug, but hear me out. What I aim to do on this channel is to empower all of you and to educate all of you guys on what it's like to be a practicing lawyer and how the things in our industry operate. The more knowledge you can glean from from watching videos on this channel and walk into your first day of law school knowing all of that context, then the better off you're going to be. You won't have to ask as many questions to the mentors you meet or go to as many of these panel discussions about career as a lawyer when you're getting a lot of that from this channel. So check out the other videos. This one is really important. Focus on building positive mental health habits now. I don't just mean now as in the summer before you begin law school. I mean literally right now, this moment. Because look, guys, the legal profession has a mental health problem and is in some respects in a mental health crisis. Law students report having very high rates of anxiety, depression, thoughts of suicide, substance abuse disorder, the list goes on. And statistics aside, let's just be real, law school is a lot of work, it's a lot of pressure. The way that you're going to get through that without suffering needlessly is with positive mental health habits that you've built in and that you're disciplined on and that you stick to. This is something that I wish I had done a better job at before going to law school myself. So maybe for you, it's journaling, maybe it's therapy, maybe it's going outside for 20 minutes a day, maybe it's hydrating, maybe it's exercising in this specific way like yoga or Pilates or lifting weights. Everybody is different when it comes to what checks that box for positive mental health, but whatever it is for you, just figure it out now so that when you're in the height of outlining an exam season in law school, you know what, I need 30 minutes to do that one thing that's going to give me that sense of feeling refreshed and recharged, and then I'm going to dive back in. The earlier you build these habits, the better. And last but not least, the single thing that I believe is worth doing during that summer before law school, besides relaxing and enjoying life, learning to type as quickly as you can. Most exams in law school are timed, you do them on the computer, and there is no word limit. And on top of that, many professors say that they're not going to penalize you if you get a point of law incorrect, but they will give you points and even partial points when you get a point of law correct, or when you add an additional argument in your essay, or you spotted that one fact that lent itself to this piece of doctrine and you discussed that. The point is that the more you're able to physically type on the exam, the higher likelihood it is that you can get more points on the exam and score better and then get better grades. And I'll give you a snapshot example of this. Some of my classmates typed like with chicken fingers, where they're doing maybe over a 3-hour period, 2,500 words. I came in having relearned how to type the correct way with all 4 fingers on each hand, and I would type on average 7,000 to 10,000 words in a 3-hour exam. And I'm not saying that you can't get an A with the 2,500 words. I'm sure you can, and some of my classmates did. But when you have the ability to write more and give yourself more attempts at hitting more issues and hitting more points, then you're just going to be better off. There are a lot of typing games out there. Z-Type is the one that I used back in the day, but of course, do whichever one is most fun for you. If you're thinking about going to law school and your goal is to be in that position of waiting for your law school experience to begin because you got admitted to the school of your dreams, then check out my comprehensive $5 guide to getting into law school. I wrote this guide with a simple mission, and that's to make it the one-stop shop so that anybody out there like you can read it and know exactly what they need to do to optimize their chances of admission into their dream law school, whether that is Harvard or your regional state school, doesn't matter. I walk you through LSAT strategy, through drafting your personal statement, through the importance of work experience, through gamifying the letter of recommendation process. And it's the price of a cup of coffee. We also have a free mentorship Discord, link in the caption. I'll see you guys around next time. I appreciate you. Take care.